Shapes and Crystal Flowers is one of the Barefoot programming activities. It targets the Key Stage 2 Programme of Study statement to use repetition in programmes. The activity focuses on the concepts of repetition, programming and evaluation. As a point to note, repeats are often called loops. In this activity, pupils learn about repetition by creating scratch programmes that draw patterns made of simple shapes. Let's look at the activity plan on the Barefoot website. The plan provides all the resources that you and your pupils need for the lesson. If we click on the repetition icon, we can see what repetition means, and it explains that repetition is the process of repeating a task a set number of times or until a condition is met. The concept goes on to explain the different types of loop, how it's implemented in different programming language, why it's important, and what it looks like in the primary curriculum. Returning to the activity. In the Before You Start section for this activity, your attention is drawn to a particular Scratch file. This file contains examples of code to help you learn how to use loops and nested loops for this activity before you teach it. In this Teacher's Examples file, you can see examples of programs that draw regular polygons, such as a triangle, pentagon, and so on. If you click on the nested sprite, then more complex programs are shown. This shows the kind of code that pupils will create as they progress in the lesson. Let's go back to the lesson plan on the Barefoot website to look at another Scratch file that we provide for this activity. Most pupils will start the lesson with a blank new Scratch file. However, for those requiring extra support, a student template file is provided. We start the lesson asking pupils to draw a square in Scratch. And for those who are having extra support, that has already been done for them. We then ask all children to support where there are repeated commands and to use a repeat block in their programme. So pupils might notice that move 100 and turn 90 is repeated a number of times, and they may think it's 3 times. Encourage children to predict what will happen and then to try it out to debug it. Once children have successfully drawn a square using a repeat, ask them to try and draw different shapes. So you might ask them perhaps to draw a 6-sided shape, and they might guess that the angle is maybe 50 degrees. Let's see if they're right. And then allow them to tinker to work out the actual angle, or you might have to give them extra help to work that out, depending on the level of mathematics in your class. Once children have managed to draw a number of different shapes, ask them then to have a go at using what's called a nested loop. For this, they need a second repeat block that they obtain in the control palette. This is fitted around or snapped around the inner loop. We also use a turn command in the outer loop, and I'll show you what that does. It offsets the next shape just before it's drawn. So let's see what this draws. Allow children to tinker and to try things out. Let's try it 20 times. And this time, instead of 15 degrees, let's try it 10. Children can enhance their patterns by using the pen commands. So for example, they can change the pen colour each time a new polygon is drawn. Let's try this time. Instead of having a hexagon, I'm going to go for a triangle, and I'm going to repeat it 36 times with a turn of 10. There are further challenges in the lesson plan for those children who make good progress in this activity.